Perfect. This morning, we're doing an AP and honors course Zoom presentation, and I have some amazing people to join us this morning. So Mr. Marr, who's our associate principal, is going to kick it off this morning. And then we're going to be speaking to Mary Miller, Kevin Giron, and our director of guidance, Rachel Rabin. At the end, we'll have a few minutes to answer any questions for you, and I am recording this Zoom. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Perfect. That way we can share that with other parents that weren't able to make it. And we're going to kick it off with Mr. Marr.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rice.
Thank you.
Nice to see everybody. I'm still getting used to this Zoom medium, but it seems to work. So listen, I was thinking a little bit about how to start this presentation this morning. Before we jump right into honors and AP classes, I want to just introduce the topic by talking about choice. I mean, all of you are in the process of making a choice. You're going to make an investment in your educations, and you're going to make a choice to come into Rice to do that, we hope. We understand that, and we're going to talk about the strengths of Rice as it applies to your choices today. But I also want to just very briefly mention that I am, in fact, much like you because I chose to come to Rice 2 years ago. I'm a retired public school principal, many years experience. The last 10 years as principal of Stowe High School. I spent a couple of years overseas in China working as an international school principal. And as I was trying to figure out what to do, and I wasn't quite ready to retire fully, the opportunity here at Rice came up and I jumped at it immediately. I mean, I knew of this school's historic reputation for values-based, rigorous academic education. And I have to tell you here, as we begin to enter into the second semester of what is now my second year here at Rice, everything that I expected about Rice has been fulfilled and more. We have just, I think, a whole list of very strong attributes for you to consider as you make your choice about what school to come to next. And I would start with the people. I mean, you've already met our admissions team, which I think is an outstanding group of people. We have a great staff in the front office. And then the heart of any school, the beating heart of any school, is its teaching faculty. And I think that we have a very, very strong teaching faculty. Many of them have advanced degrees, including doctorates. All of them pursue professional development as a matter of who they are and what they do. And we work very, very closely together to continuously improve this school. I'm going to let Mrs. Miller and Mr. Guerin talk about some of the specific AP courses, but I've been involved with advanced placement for many, many years, decades, in fact. And we have a full gamut of AP courses across all of our departments. And in the past year, we've added 2 new ones that we're especially proud of. We put an AP computer science class into place this year. And we also put the first year of a 2-year implementation of the College Board's newest program, which is called Advanced Placement Capstone Diploma Program. This program, in a nutshell, was conceived as a competitive alternative to the International Baccalaureate, if you're familiar with that. It's AP Capstone has become a global phenomenon in the last 5 years. I implemented it in the very competitive Chinese international school that I was at 3 years ago when I started there, when I left there. And it has become the gold standard for AP and academic rigor around the world. Schools, very competitive schools in this country and internationally are queued up to sign up for this program. You have to sign up for it. You have to apply for it. You have to show that you're prepared to do it. And last year we were accepted into the program and implemented year 1, which is called AP Seminar. This coming fall, we'll be implementing year 2, which is called AP Research. Now, again, in a nutshell, because I don't have time to go into it in great depth, although we can supply you with further material, this is about giving you the opportunity over 2 years as a junior and senior to pursue your academic interests. Essentially, think about AP Seminar as the introductory year where you work on your research and your critical thinking skills, and you use prompts from the College Board on all kinds of diverse and transdisciplinary subjects. And then the second year in AP Research, you pick a topic with a research question, and you'd go deep into that topic, guided by your teacher and an outside mentor in the field. And then you produce a 5,000-word research essay on that topic. Now, this has really become a very marquee, a very high quality indicator of academic success in rigorous high schools across the world. And if you look at the College Board's website and you look at the AP Capstone section, you can see a whole list of colleges that have given testimonials and have given words of support and encouragement for students to pursue this. And they're amongst our best universities. So we have, I believe, an outstanding teacher staff and a rigorous academic program, which, by the way, is free of proficiencies. We do not subscribe to the state of Vermont's public school proficiencies. We pursue rigorous academic standards, but we really don't participate in the proficiency program that the public schools are involved in. In fact, I'll tell you honestly, I left Stowe High School in 2017 as principal there after 10 years, not because I didn't like Stowe High School, I very much did, but because I saw the proficiency bandwagon coming down the road from the state, and I did not believe in it, and nor do we here at Rice. So we offer you an alternative that I believe you would find supportive environment, a faith-based climate which doesn't push religion, but supports values that we can all identify with of right and wrong, a rigorous academic climate, and a very supportive faculty and staff. So with that, I could stop, and I'd be happy to take a few questions before I have to leave. How about from the students? Anything on your mind? Go ahead. Somebody's got to go first.
Feel free to jump in. Just unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Vanessa, I am just going to pick up on what you noted about proficiency-based learning and just the Vermont education standards. And I know that I have a child at Mater Christi, so I know it's a little bit different with Catholic schools versus public schools in terms of standards. Can you speak a little bit to that and how we know the education is meeting the standards, say
Sure.
a child would transfer somewhere else at some point,
Sure.
that the Rice education is achieving
Sure.
standards if it's not proficiency based or standards.
Sure, of course.
Based.
Sure. I mean, first of all, any AP class follows national standards. So anything that we have at an AP level has those standards embedded in the curriculum. For all of our other classes, we follow the Common Core, which has been out there for some time, as well as discipline-specific standards. I mean, the National Council of Teachers of Math, Next Gen Science standards. I mean, all of the standards that have been out there and have been used in the public schools, we're aware of them and we use them. We teach the standards. In fact, we have talked about in the last year or so, since I've been here, about really focusing on how do we frame essential questions and enduring understandings from the standards? How do we really focus on what's important in our planning and our curricula? So you can certainly match up what we do with what happens in the public schools where they still follow the standards.
And I'll just jump in real quick from sort of the student perspective. So I'm Rachel and I'm the director of guidance here. And a lot of students who come back to say hi to us after they graduate tell us that they felt very prepared for college. And some of them even say that the first year of college was easier than some of their time at Rice. So those reading and writing skills, really being able to do those first year college requirements. Kids are like, well, I'm so glad I took, this class or that class with, say, Mrs. Miller, whoever, because it really prepared me for my next step.
Any other questions? For the students on the screen, AP Capstone is something you should do some research on. If ever you've been interested in a topic that you really wanted to go deep in because it really spoke to you, were passionate about it, and maybe a topic that you don't see that fits into an academic department because it crosses disciplines, because that's how the way the real world works. Well, this is a program where you can really pursue that topic and do it in a way that, some of us who went to college maybe didn't see until we were in our junior or senior year, or maybe even in graduate school. I mean, you have a real interesting opportunity here to follow an interest in a deep, structured academic way, but one that can really satisfy you at a level that you're not going to see in most other schools. And by the way, Rice is one of only two high schools in the state. There are 67 high schools in Vermont. We're only one of two. St. Johnsbury Academy is the other one that has been admitted into the AP Capstone program. Anybody else?
Well, thank you for your time this morning, Jeff.
You are very welcome, and I'm happy to do so, and I hope I'll see many of these faces in the future. And it is my pleasure to pass this off to Mrs. Mary Miller, who's our English department chair. I hope to see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good morning. I'm so happy to see all of you here today. I recognize that for some people it's a little early, but we're grateful that you were able to join us. A couple things. One is that, first of all, AP stands for Advanced Placement. So it's essentially taking a college level course and putting it into high school. We believe that every single student who walks through our doors is what we call pre-AP. So it doesn't matter whether they're going to be taking the course in high school or they're going to be taking the course in college. We believe that we're preparing all students to be able to take those courses. The other thing is that the human brain develops at a variety of rates, and not everybody is at the same rate at the same time. So we at Rice decided that honors courses were one of those ways that we could address the way that the human brain develops. The difference with the honors course, I teach honors freshman English, I've taught honors sophomore English, and I am certified to teach AP English Literature and AP English Language. So I can teach all of those level courses at our school. And we decided to create these honors classes to recognize that not everybody develops it the same way, and that for students who already have developed some significant writing skills, and they're also showing higher level critical thinking skills, that we needed to meet them and move them forward, because we know that sometimes when students are not challenged that way, that they get bored. And that's not what we want. We want students who are engaged, and we want students to recognize that we are going to move them forward from where they start. So that's one of our pieces. The other thing is with the pre-AP and our belief that everybody is going to take these courses at some point in time, even for students who choose to go into the military or pursue technical training, we want to make sure that they are in a position where they can take college courses if they want to. So we want to make sure that everybody is set up for that. As we move forward and we're looking at our honors courses, we read slightly different pieces from what our college prep classes take. We go through them, we tend to go through them a little bit faster, and we do more writing. And there's an assumption that there's a certain amount of writing skills that the students possess when they walk through the door. So we're not spending our time in honors on creating a paragraph. There's an assumption that you already know how to write a good paragraph. And for some people that may seem a little silly that we would even say that, yet we feel that we do need to say that. You know, we start off with writing a thesis statement. One of the first projects that we do, which is a joint English history project, is what we call the pass paper. We do a brief research paper, 3 to 4 pages. And students have to demonstrate, here's that word, proficiency, on all of the MLA formatting as well as writing before we allow that paper to pass. We have some students who take until Christmas to be able to pass that paper. And regardless of how long it takes them, they still get a 90 in the grade book for that assignment for the first quarter. So we are committed to making sure that students have the foundation to write a formal research paper with MLA formatting. Mr. Marr mentioned that we have added AP seminar and we are adding AP research. AP Sem lives in the English department, if you will. Our AP English Literature teaches AP Sem, and students who take AP Sem have the ability to also sit for the AP English Language and Composition test. So it's kind of a twofer, which is nice. It's something that we're very excited to have been able to offer. I guess I'd say I'd like to take questions because I'm not sure which direction you'd like me to go in. And I think it's easier if I just kind of respond to any questions that you might have. Oh, I will throw something out there pedagogically. We've heard a lot, I think especially over the last year, of schools deciding to do what's called a 4x4. So they take 4 classes each semester, and that they take the entire year as a single semester course. 4 classes a day through the semester, and then at the start of the next semester, then they start a new 4 courses. For us, with our AP classes, that just doesn't seem to make any sense for us. We're doing the kind of the 8-block schedule, if you will. So kids can take 6, 7, 8 courses over a semester because they're taking it over a year. It doesn't seem to make any sense to us to start an AP class in late August, early September, end it in January with midterm exams, and then wait until May to take the test. And conversely, if you had it in a second semester, you'd be starting the class in late January and doing the entire AP course before you took the test in the first or second week of May. That's a lot of material. And it just, honestly, I don't know how somebody can think that is logical to do. But that's one of the decisions that we've made here at Rice.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Miller?
Can I ask how you guys assess their ability to write before coming in?
Sure. So because of COVID last year, we didn't give a placement essay, which we have in the past. I don't think we're going to this year. What we did was go off of test scores, as in standardized test scores. We went off of teacher recommendations. We looked at grades. And when we did our placements, if somebody felt that they were being placed in the college prep program and that they belonged in honors, then we had them sit for the essay so that we could evaluate that a little bit better. And even when we look at the essays, there are aspects, because it's an on-demand writing piece, there are aspects of it that we can look beyond if there are spelling errors and things like that. What we're looking for is, do they have the higher level critical thinking? And can they do a decent job with the writing? And I know that's not really something that you can qualify very easily. I have rubrics that I share that we use the Rice writing rubric, and we can go over that. But if you don't have the critical thinking piece, then you could be the best writer in the world, but it's not going to matter because you lack the ability to move beyond the concrete and into the abstract. I don't know if that helped at all.
Yes, thank you.
And one thing I'll just add to that, which is something that we like about having college prep and honors level, across grades and AP level, across grades, and in multiple different subjects each year, is that students develop differently. And maybe one year they maybe start in college prep in a certain subject area, and then the next year they're like, I love this subject, and I really want to try honors. And students can sort of pick and choose, depending on their development and their interests, how they maneuver throughout our levels. And the teachers help students with this decision. We put, and I can talk about this at the end, but we put a lot of time into our course recommendations and then how we end up building the schedule to make sure that it's student driven and student centered, because every year it's different in terms of what kids are most interested in and what, how many classes, of each level we need to run based on the students. So it's nice to be able to have those options within especially freshman, sophomore year.
I guess I can also speak a little bit as a parent. My daughter's an alumna. I've been here I've been at Rice for 25 years, so a little bit of time. And my daughter is now a junior at university. And she moved back and forth depending on the subject between honors and AP and college prep. It kind of depended on what she was looking for and what she needed to add to her strength roles. So she had that flexibility to do that. Rice offers that. And it's something that I think is really wonderful. And we've had students go from being in college prep freshman year to ending up in AP English Literature as a senior. And a lot of those kids I hear back from, they've got like 2 master's degrees and they're just crushing it. So it seems to be that we're headed in the right direction with things. So that's something that we really pride ourselves on. Any other questions? I hate just talking at people. Going once, going twice. Okay, so now to the math side of things. I'd like to present Mr. Geron, who teaches a couple of AP classes in our math department. And here you go.
Hi, thank you, Mary. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for meeting us at this meeting at such an early time. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, awesome. Just to piggy off what Miss Miller said and what Rachel said, I actually have a personal story of my own. When I was in high school, I actually was not in an honors track freshman year, sophomore year, or junior year. But with the help of my pre-calculus teacher, she saw the potential that I had in possibly taking an AP course. She asked me if I was willing to sit in on a few AP classes my senior year without being in an honors track beforehand. And I was like, sure, why not? I sat in an AP Calculus and AP Statistics for about a week before I decided to make the switch. So with the help of my teacher, I was able to do that. And I would say we do just the same thing here at Rice. Specifically, our sequence is Algebra 2 honors, Geometry honors, and Pre-Calculus honors, starting from freshman year to junior year. But you don't have to have taken an honors course before to be recommended for one in the future. So if you were in Algebra 2 as a freshman, that doesn't mean that you can't take any honors course in the future, honors geometry or honors pre-calculus. And the same thing with AP statistics and AP calculus and AP computer science. Those are our 3 offerings in the math department. I figured I might also take any questions from the science department if there are any, but we have 3 AP course offerings for the science department: AP Bio, AP Chemistry, and AP Physics. So I'll try my best if anybody has any questions from the science department. But yeah, for those AP courses in the math department, it's really based off of how well you do in your course, regardless if it's an honors course or a regular course, as well as a teacher recommendation and a conversation you have with your teacher. It's really a whole joint effort when it comes to recommending for an AP course. Another thing that we do is, especially since many students are juniors and seniors by the time they have the option of putting an AP course in their schedule, is asking students what their possible plans for college are. If it's more STEM related, then maybe AP Calculus or AP Computer Science might be a better way to go and will benefit you more in the long run. If you're looking more at business or in the medical field, AP Statistics might be something that will benefit you more in the long run. So it's really just, it's really about a team effort. It's how students do in the class. It's about how the teacher sees the two students' growth. As Mary said, like everybody grows at a different pace. The brain develops at a different pace depending on who you are as a student. And we really take that into consideration to get the whole picture for recommendations. Just like Mr. Marr said, all the AP classes follow the College Board curriculum guidelines. So we work over the summer just finalizing them and making sure that they're up to date. There's been few changes here and there every year. Particularly last year with COVID, we had to adjust our exam and some topics for the curriculum. Hopefully that won't happen again this year and we can have a normal exam, but we haven't heard anything otherwise. But yeah, so I guess I can speak a little bit more about AP Stats and AP Calc, since those are the courses that I specifically teach. Um, they're pretty rigorous. I myself have taken it as a student, and I would say it's only gotten a little bit more harder because of the topics and what they've added since then. And I graduated in 2011, so that was about 10 years ago. AP Calculus, it's really down to three big ideas: limits, differentiation, and integration. I'm not sure if anybody knows that, but just a broad overview of that. AP Statistics is way more interesting, though, if you're interested in real world data and using real world statistics. And we use computer programming too, which is pretty cool throughout the year. And in AP Computer Science, we follow the curriculum through the College Board that uses code.org to make programs and learn the computer language. I think right now they're using Java. And that's pretty much it. I myself don't teach AP Computer Science, but I can try my best to answer any questions people have regarding that course. And I think that's all the notes that I have here. Are there any questions that anybody has?
I have a question about the computer course. Do students do courses before that, or is that one that they would just jump into as a junior or senior?
Yeah, great question. So it's a brand new course. And right now the prereqs are Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, I believe. So that would allow juniors, seniors, as well as in specific cases, sophomores, I believe. And the reasoning behind that is it was a department meeting. We went through the computer science curriculum and we saw that really a lot of the material and the concepts are more Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 based rather than geometry and pre-calculus based. So that's why those two classes aren't a prereq for that.
Does anyone else have any other questions for Kevin?
How do you assess if students go into honors classes or college prep?
Oh, that's a great question. So I teach Algebra 1, and I've actually taught Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and geometry. And I've always, every year, recommended students to jump into the honors track. And really two primary things that I'm looking for is work ethic throughout the year and how organized students are. And sometimes that's not really there in the beginning of the year, but a lot of the time you see growth within our students at Rice. So we take that into consideration as well as how they do academically. So particularly on cumulative tests. So how well they're able to grasp multiple topics and multiple concepts and show how well they've learned multiple topics on cumulative tests. So really based on the work ethic that a student shows throughout the year, and then their academic performance throughout the year as well.
Were you asking initially for when people come in as freshmen though, or throughout their career?
We're asking really for a transfer student going into sophomore year. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So can I ask what math you are currently in?
I'm currently in geometry.
Okay, and have you taken Algebra 1 and Algebra 2?
I have taken Algebra 1, but not Algebra 2.
Okay, so it will be based on academic performance as well as any transfers we try to communicate with the sending teacher, if possible, if they would recommend Algebra 2 honors. And because it's Algebra 2 that you are missing, we would also not only look at the geometry grade, but also the algebra grade. So based off of those things.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and just sort of a general sort of statement about both of those processes. The transfer process, we work, like even if you say you started in Algebra 2 and you get in there for the first week and you're like, whoa, no, I really need to be in the honors. There's all of this is really driven by conversation. You know, we use all this data that, you know, Mr. G is talking about. And we also, you know, talk to teachers and make sure that they're having those conversations with students. And we have a ton of transfers that come in. You know, we have an international program, so we're very used to having transfer students, and our teachers are amazing with trying to figure this out. I mean, as you know, they work so closely with me. I'm trying to figure out the big picture, and they are the experts in figuring out their subject area for these students. Sort of the general culture of our school, because it is a more small school vibe, as students progress and are recommended by teachers, you know, it's not just if you get like, you know, this particular grade on a test. It's conversations, it's how have you grown? Our students are talking to their teachers, especially around this time of year, around what does their next year look like, what makes the most sense, where's the balance in their schedule. You know, teachers will ask about, okay, what are you thinking about for other courses? And they talk about, you know, what their next steps might be in terms of AP or honors or college prep. So they're kind of looking at the student holistically, and then also looking at what they've seen in terms of their growth over the year, and then what they think would be best.
Any other questions regarding the math department or possibly science department that I might be able to answer?
All right. Thank you,
All
Mr.
right.
G. Rachel, do
Thank
you want to take it from here?
Sure. So hi, everybody. I've chimed in a couple times. But so I'm Rachel Rabin, and I am the Director of Guidance. Thanks for being here. So, you know, I think Mr. Maher, Ms. Miller, and Mr. G covered a lot about our classes. Some of the things that I just wanted to talk quickly about is, you know, I think the general culture of Rice is that we, you know, we understand that all kids are different and that we are looking at them holistically. And that's why we have a lot of these offerings, which is what I was talking about before. And we also want to make all these offerings accessible to students. So we put a lot of energy into course recommendations. So those conversations that I was just talking about with teachers, and then guidance. So we have 3 guidance counselors, which in terms of student ratio it's a really healthy number of guidance counselors. We have smaller caseloads, which is nice because again, we're sort of that small school. We know every senior that crosses that stage. You know, we have interacted with them multiple times over the years, and we're really, really lucky to have 3 guidance counselors. That is something that we're very fortunate to have at Rice. So then we meet individually with all students and talk about the big picture. You know, what are they thinking about for the future? what makes the most sense in balance. You know, if you're taking 4 AP courses, is that going to balance with all the other things going on in your life? You know, and should we, you know, think about this for this year and maybe something a little bit different for next year, depending on where you're at. And that's kind of, you know, our goal is to understand the student as not only, you know, a student, but as a person and what's in the best interest of them overall. And then we go ahead and build the schedule. So we take what students want and we try to get as many students into their first choice classes. Obviously, it's not always 100%, but we've switched. So before COVID, we made a switch in scheduling where we basically structured a couple things different to make sure that at least, you know, I would say about 80 to 85% of all of our students get into their first choice classes, or maybe there's just one class that we had a little trouble in. So we work off of, right now we're in a block schedule, but after COVID, we are going to do a hybrid block. So really quickly, what that'll look like is that on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you see all of your teachers. So you do your entire schedule, 1 through 8. And we like that because teachers like to see students and have that interaction with them as much as possible. And I see Mary shaking her head. But we also realize that there's value in the block and having those longer periods throughout the week for, you know, labs and debates in history. You know, after 40 minutes, you're like, wait, we just got going in this, you know, we want to continue. So we decided the hybrid was the best price. So that's hopefully what it's going to look like, although it doesn't look like it this year. And that's how we try to get all of our students into as many classes, as many of their first choice classes as possible. And I will say, because this is about AP and honors, that around 85% or above of our students try an AP class by senior year, which is really high. We have a lot, for such a small school, we have a lot of AP classes and we have a lot of honors classes. So they are there for students to access if they are interested in them. And oftentimes, just because of sort of the, you know, our teachers inspire them and they encourage them. And I would say most of our students, even as freshmen, they were like, yeah, I'm definitely never taking an AP class. By senior year, they might be taking like 2 or 3 or maybe, you know, more. It's really impressive, the growth that you see with these students. And I really think that comes from the teachers and the teachers getting to know their kids. And, you know, I've been at Rice, this is my 7th year. And I am always impressed by our classroom teachers, and the stories that kids tell me. You know, I don't think teachers hear it enough, how they can really change a student's life, and they do it every day at Rice. So if you guys have any questions, I could probably talk all day, but I know that most of you have things to do. So yeah.
I have a question. I was wondering, when you say most students are able to get into the classes that they would like, are you speaking more electives, or are some kids not getting into the core classes that they need?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it depends. It could be either or. It's typically more electives that would be kind of the class that they might have to switch, that sort of last class or that elective that maybe was on their, you know, first choice list. But what we do is I actually talk to every single student when there's a conflict. So that's what I do over the summer. I actually am talking to students, you know, May, June, July, trying to figure out what's best for them if we can't get them into every single class that they want. So it's an individual conversation, either over the phone or if it's really easy, over email. But that's what we do if we can't meet all those needs. That's what
Oh, it looks like we just lost Rachel. Sorry about that, everybody. We'll wait for her. Oh, she's coming back on.
Oh, I think my internet just crashed for a second there.
Yes, it did. We hear you though.
Okay. I can only see you, Stacy. That is very weird, but that's okay.
Oh. Does anyone have any other questions for Rachel? Or Mary or Kevin?
I can take some history questions too, I think, just because the English department works pretty closely with the history department. So if somebody's got a history question, I might be able to help there.
I have a question about the ACT scores. Can anyone speak to what the average ACT score was last year from the class?
Yes, it was. It was 27.1 composite.
And ACT?
ACT.
SAT, sorry.
Oh, SAT. The total for Rice was 1179.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually, if you go to our website, if you go under the profile, this is really good for all of you to hear. The second page of our Rice profile has all that data. It also tells you what honors courses we have, and it also gives you the average SAT score for Rice, Vermont, and then the national average. So, and also for ACT, that's what I was just looking at. And oddly enough, I had the profile pulled up. So, but it's all there. And if you have questions on things like that, just email Stacy and she'll get a hold of me, or you can email me directly, whatever works.
Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us again. Mary, Kevin, Rachel, thank you for spending the time with us this morning. And as Rachel just said, if you have any questions, please send me an email. I'm happy to help answer any questions or direct you to someone who definitely can. Obviously, these are my experts, along with Mr. Marr. And it was a pleasure seeing everyone today. So I know that I've been in touch with most of you. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Have a great day.